Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I wanted to do a little bit of a different video. So with Race to World First starting tomorrow, officially, the Mythic Raid coming out and all that good stuff, I wanted to do a raid comp kind of guesser for Raid to World First. Liquid Max did something similar with his chat recently, which was super interesting. It was a super good video. You should go and watch it. But he kind of talks about kind of how he would make a comp or something, he gives certain tips towards it and things like that. So I thought it would be quite fun to do that. So let's get into it. So one of the things he said is you kind of start with a DPS and work that way, which is kind of not the obvious choice, but it makes sense, right? You work through the DPS and then you kind of figure out what else you need, right? So I'm going to go through and put in kind of the specs that are just naturally going to be there, right? So the first one is Mage. Don't know what spec Mage, but Mage is definitely going to be there. You're going to have at least one Warlock. You're going to have at least... Are you going to have a Rogue? Do you need a Rogue? I'm going to come back to Rogue. I don't think you need a Rogue. You are definitely going to bring a Hunter, so let's put a Hunter in there. So again, Arcane Intellect, Cookies, Portal, just general utility, Soulstones. Marksmanship brings Hunter's Mark now, and they also just do a lot of damage right now. So yeah, and I think that's the obvious picks, right? I don't think there's anything else where it's like obviously you're going to bring this. Rogue is the other one, but I don't know what it brings in terms of utility to a raid. I don't think it brings much, actually, which is interesting. Okay, so definitely those three are going to be in the comp, in my opinion. This is a really cool little comp builder, actually. But anyway, so... what are we going to do from here? So I think naturally you're going to have at least one augmentation of Ochre. They just bring so much to a raid. They bring, obviously, all of the utility, Bloodlust, and just the fact that they bring a lot of damage plus to a group as well. So I think we're going to bring an augmentation of Ochre. I'll tell you what we're actually going to do is I'm going to put everything like... down here. So these are all the healers. Resto Shami, Resto Druid. Is there any other healers? No, sixes, right? Blood DK. Vengeance DK, Demon Hunter. Prot Pally. Prot Warrior. And Brew Monk. Okay, so they're all our tanks and healers that we have as choices. And then as DPS... it's kind of this, isn't it? Oh, Preservoker, I forgot as well. We've already got a Hunter, we've already got a Mage. Not to say we can't bring multiples, but again, something that he points out, and very rightly, is why would you put multiples of something in straight away? And I'm going to put them in there as well. Okay, so where do we want to go next? I'm going to put a Shadow Priest in. Now, Shadow Priest brings the stand buff. It also brings PI. It also brings a lot of like additional raid healing. So I think just in general, Shadow Priest is probably a safe pick. So I am definitely gonna add one of those to the comp. That's a pretty heavy ranged comp at the moment. What melees do we want? See, Fury's very, very strong at the moment. I think you naturally, just even with the nerfs coming, I think you have to bring a Fury Warrior. They bring Rally, they bring Battle Shout, they bring... that's about it, really. But they do bring a fair bit. So what buffs are we missing? We need a Druid buff from somewhere. And I think that's going to be a Resto Druid's pretty weak, although it is getting buffed. Boomy is getting buffed. Feral is getting buffed. Guardian isn't getting touched. And yeah, so there is definitely going to be a Druid in that comp. I just don't know what spec it would be at the moment. I don't think it's going to be Feral. Bringing more melee is kind of yeah, I just don't see it being feral. So it's between Boomy and Resto. And I think I'm going to just put in, just moving all these out here so I can actually build the comp. I think I'm not actually going to add my first healer, and that's going to be Resto Druid. So we're looking for a couple more melee. Now, what other buffs do we need? We need a monk buff. For now, I'm just going to get rid of them. We need a monk buff. Now, I haven't seen too much about Mistweaver. Windwalker, I don't even know how Windwalker's doing at the moment. And Brewmaster. I would naturally go towards Windwalker. It's normally the spec thing, like the buff bringer. Let's have a look. So we've got our little kind of the stats page here, which is actually interesting because I didn't realize Enhancement Shaman was so high. I didn't realize Arms Warrior was so high. Just look at Boomy, dudes. It is so sad. But it is getting buffed, so it's fine. I'm actually surprised to see Shadow Priest so low. That does kind of make me doubt whether they'd bring a Shadow Priest with their DPS being down here, but they bring so much extra utility that I feel like those fights where they don't want to go for up another healer, but, you know, they're still, like, they need like 4.5 healers. Shadow Priest fills that role really well. So I'm gonna back it for now. But Windwalker's up there. I definitely think Windwalker's more than capable of being in that. So I'm just gonna remove these for now. What else do we need? We need a chamois buff. Now, Enhance is slapping meters right now. It actually has, it looks like the highest top end of the game. Which is quite interesting. So I know they have been nerfed, but I think naturally you're just going to want to bring one. They do so much damage, so much passive cleave, that, yeah, you're going to want one in your comp. So what else do we need? We have the chamois buff. We have Stam buff. We have no Pallies currently. We need a Demon Hunter. So it's either going to be Havoc. Where's Havoc right now? Ooh, Havoc is low. But would you want a Vengeance Demon Hunter? You're definitely going to want the buff. It's just whether you'd bring Havoc just for the buff. I'm not sure. So we've got 2 melee spots left. And then healer spots. I think in terms of healer spots, you're definitely going to want a Holy Pally. You're most likely going to want a Resto Chamois, and you're most likely going to want a Disc Priest. I think that's a pretty solid healer comp. Obviously, you could drop Resto and pick up, like, Boomy. I don't think Boomy's going to make it in the comp as much as I want it to. But, yeah, I mean, potentially. But somewhere to pick up that buff, at least. And then tanks, I do just think Blood DK... Is that just the tank comp? So it would be Blood DK main tank, Vengeance off tank or whatever, but, you know, them two as tanks. They're your 4 healers. Kind of, I think, a second augmentation of Oka, because you stacks up to 2, right? If you're going to bring 1, there's no point not bringing 2. So, you know, okay, let's bring a second augmentation of Oka. We still don't have a rogue. Outlaw Rogue is kind of pumping at the moment as well, you know. Rep Halley. Oh, Athley Warlock. Oh, we've already got 1. What else might we want there? I mean, that's definitely just going to be Arcane, isn't it? So we have 3 spots left. 5 spots left. Wow, I'm tired. Do we want an extra healer? Would they run 5 healers? I think they might run 5 healers to start with, and if they did, it would probably be a Preservation of Oka. I did realise that I haven't actually got a Preservation of Oka in the comp. Yeah, we're going to add a Preservation of Oka, I think. So we've got 4 spots left, Brain. I'm going to put an Outlaw Rogue in there. So we have, you know, a ranged group with an augmentation evoker, a melee group with an augmentation evoker, and then I think these 3 spots are kind of just going to be flex fill spots where it's like bring the best thing for the raid. You know, let's throw a Rep Pally in there. They do a lot of damage, good passive AoE cleave as well. Maybe a second warrior, just if they are that far, like that good at the moment. And then you'd probably want another ranged. That's a lot of melee. So let's look at another range, like another arcane mage. Yeah, I honestly think that's a pretty solid race to world first comp, mythic comp. I don't know that anything else that I'd take over it. Again, elemental chamois, it's up there in terms of damage. Is it? Is it about halfway? Yeah, I think that's as good of a tier. I said not a tier list, but a race to world first comp as I'm going to be able to build anyway. So let me know if there's anything you just think is absolutely wild, should never have been in this comp at all, and if I've got anything wrong. Obviously, if they 4 healed, they'd potentially drop the resto to like a feral or a boomy. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid race to world first comp. So let me know what you guys think, and obviously, you know, after the race, we'll come back and have a look at this and see how far I was away from it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. More videos coming soon, and peace.